During the process of healing, yoga became key point for me to feel better. I know that there's something greater than us, but it's inside of us as well, right? So when I started transitioning more into yoga, I noticed that yes, I can move and I can flow and I can do all this crazy stuff, but with so much more awareness. People come with a lot of stories, and when you finish the class and those conversations that you have with people telling you, hey, when you said this, when you made us do that, or when I did this, or in Shavasana, people crying or people laughing,
Vanakkam, Namaste, and hello everyone. Welcome to the 61st episode of Inside the Minds of Great Yogis. In today's episode, we have a very special guest, Nuni Soriano.
Nuni Soriano has been practicing yoga for 8 years and teaching it full-time for the past 4. She comes from Argentina and moved to Dubai to work for Emirates Airlines as part of their cabin crew team in 2014. That is when she stumbled upon this beautiful yoga world, and then during the pandemic is when she started teaching full-time. Captivated by the connection between nature, the body, and the mind, she blends science-based techniques with ancient practices in her classes. Nuni aims to help people explore their inner worlds while challenging their limits and deepening their body-mind connection.
So let's give a big round of applause to Nuni.
Thank you so much. Thank you for that introduction.
Hi, Nuni. Thank you for joining us on the show. How are you doing today?
Very good, very good. Super excited to be here, Swati. Thank you for inviting me to share my world.
I'm super excited to have you on the podcast. So thank you so much for joining me on today. And I'm very excited to hear about your perspectives of yoga. And on that note, we'll get started. And the first question that I have for you is, how did your journey of yoga begin?
Okay, um, I'm from Argentina, and I came to Dubai in 2014
Okay.
to be an air hostess for an airline here.
Yeah.
And I back in Argentina, I used to dance, jazz and contemporary dance. I used to teach the kids. I used to be in the stage a lot. And when I came here to Dubai 10 years ago,
Yeah.
it was super hard to find places where to dance or where to move, where to express. I was living in the middle of the desert, so it was hard for me to go around the city. So the first place that I found with some kind of dance classes was the pole dance yoga studio, actually.
Okay.
Um, and I went there, and the pole dance classes were followed by stretching classes, very deep stretch classes. But the teacher used to start with sun salutations, and I didn't know what that was. And she said once, "These are sun salutations from yoga. I feel like these are very good warm-ups for our deep stretches." And I was like, "Wow, this feels so good. I want to know more about this." So I went home and I started, actually my first few months of yoga were through YouTube.
Okay.
I didn't dare to go to classes yet because I feel like I don't know what I'm doing, but I really like it. And yeah, so I started with YouTube, and then slowly I dare to go to real studio classes. And then I got injured. I got a knee surgery. And during the process of healing, yoga became a key point for me to feel better because you can adapt everything, right?
Absolutely.
To start moving and to, but you know what was the best thing about it? It gave me the spiritual part that I didn't have before. I came from a Catholic family, and I never resonated with that, to be honest. So I didn't have that part of, I feel like I need to believe in something, and I didn't have it. And then when I started, knowing more about yoga philosophy, the chakras philosophy, and everything that comes with it, it was like, okay, this is my thing. This is, I know that there's something greater than us, but it's inside of us as well, right? So energy is what I believe, and I started expanding a little bit more that belief from there, and that was key. The spirituality that gave me the strength, that gave me all this philosophy, apart from the physical part, started switching, from the physical part a little bit more to complement all the rest. And those ups and downs that you have when you cannot move, when something happens, when you don't have the time, yoga is so complete, because it's always something that you can do to feel better.
Absolutely.
So yeah, I fell in love with it afterwards, and I was like, as soon as I could walk a little bit better after my knee surgery, I started my teacher training, because I was like, I need to share this. I need to share this for everybody to have the tool of yoga. So yeah, I started.
Thank you for sharing about how your journey of yoga started. And now I'd like to come into the next question that I have for you. So I know you had mentioned that you do contemporary dance as well as jazz, right? So I was wondering, how is the transition from doing contemporary dance to landing into yoga? Did you feel that that was a huge transition, or what was it like for you?
Hmm. Eh, it was very organic, because the moment that I started with yoga, and then I found some places here in Dubai where I could go and take dance classes.
Yeah.
I started comparing a little bit the way I was moving in yoga and the way I was moving when I was dancing. Don't take me wrong, I don't feel like dancing is bad now. All the opposite. I always feel like my place in the world is being in a stage, even though I haven't been there for a very long time. But the stage is my place in the world. But now, I when I started transitioning more into yoga, I noticed that yes, I can move and I can flow, and I can do all this crazy stuff, but with so much more awareness.
Mhm.
um, that maybe in the dance world is more about showing how beautiful you move, right?
Yeah.
Just doesn't matter how. And sometimes also it depends on the guides you have. You may feel a little bit pressure on looking good, and doing things this way.
Mhm.
Doesn't matter how. If you get injured, if you have to practice a million times, even if you are tired, or if you don't feel like you have to. Whereas with yoga, I found this place of understanding my limitations and adapting, and doing things for myself, and not to show to somebody else. So it was magic. It was not, there was no regret into that transition, even though I still love, dancing, and but it's with less pressure. Yeah.
Yeah. Thank you for sharing that. And I absolutely love how you had described the transition from going from dance and coming into yoga. And I think one thing I was able to notice is that both dance and yoga are a form of movement, right? So it's great to also kind of combine both of them as well, like you had mentioned there. So thank you for sharing a little bit about dance and yoga and how the transition went for you. Now I'd like to come into the next question in regards to the styles and types of yoga. So I was wondering, what style of yoga do you practice and resonate with most?
I practice everything.
I love
Where
that.
I go. But so a constant, since I started, it's been vinyasa flow. So when I started actually stopping YouTube and I dared to go to a yoga class, I will never forget my first yoga class with my who I consider my mentor, which is Niha Duseja. She's the best teacher here in Dubai, from my perspective. And when I went to her class and I saw the freedom and the creativity and the way she was teaching, I was like, I want to teach like her, and I want to do all those things. So she was teaching vinyasa. So that was a constant. But over the years, I discovered that not every day you want to do a super, power vinyasa. So then yin yoga appeared. I'm doing now something called Inside Flow. I don't know if you heard about it.
I've heard of it, yeah.
Yeah, so it's an evolution of vinyasa. You do it with music and you follow the rhythm of the music, which for me, combining with dance was perfect.
Oh,
Uh, yeah, um, and I will say the last 2 years, I meditation and breath work are together with vinyasa. I will say are my main practices. Um, since I think it's been 2 years now that 97% of my mornings I woke up and meditated. Especially after I did a Vipassana meditation training in India last year. And since
okay.
then I cannot live without meditating. I cannot start my day if I don't meditate. And breath work. I'm really now into the path of discovering everything that the breath does for us, and I feel like it's pure magic. So breath work every morning as well.
I love
So,
that. Thank you for sharing a bit about the style of yoga that you practice and the one that you kind of resonated with the most. I believe you shared a new one there as well, where you combine music along with yoga. So thank you for sharing that. The next question that I actually have for you is, what makes your yoga classes unique?
hmm, huh. So, well, as yoga teachers, we all have our different sparks, right? So I think everybody has their own special thing. As you can tell, I smile a lot. So I really like um, to introduce people to a comfortable environment where they feel comfortable to express whatever they need to express. I always say all noises are allowed. Uh, don't worry about how the person next to you looks. Your mat is your bubble, and I'm a guide, right? So I like clarifying that almost in every class, especially if it's a big group and there are new people there. Just welcoming everybody and every shape, every background, uh, every age. Everything is adaptable, and I really really like clarifying that before I start my classes, so everybody feels comfortable on taking rest whenever they need it, or modifying to a more advanced option as well. So I think the key is, I think, the freedom that I try to embrace in my classes, and I make a lot of jokes as well. Laugh at myself on my Spanglish. Um, so yeah, try to keep the vibes up, but also I like them to express if they want to be sad or angry.
Mhm.
Please be sad or angry. This is why we step in the mat, right? To
Yeah.
let it all out.
I
Yeah.
love that. Thank you for sharing a bit about what makes your yoga classes unique. I really love how you said that you always start with a big smile. And I will say a smile is always inviting. It feels very welcoming. So I love that. And the second thing is you said that you like your classes, you have your classes more inclusive. So I love how they are more inclusive to everyone, to all types of body types. So I think that's just amazing about yoga, and like to be able to to be able to connect with one another. So thank you for sharing that. And now I have some rapid fire questions for you. And the first question that I'd like to get into is, what is your favorite yoga pose and why?
Oh, so easy. Happy baby.
Okay.
And in 90% of my classes, you will find a happy baby at the end. And I present it like this, like my favorite yoga class, yoga pose, sorry. Also, I know that not everybody, it's not for everybody comfortable to get into that position. So we try to adapt it. You can grab your calf muscles, you can grab the back of your knees, you can grab wherever you want, but just the main thing for me is the rocking side to side, and that laugh that comes up when you cannot come up again.
Yeah.
And whoever wants to extend one leg and extend the other, and yeah, it's that freedom of at the end of the class feeling like you're doing a massage to yourself. So I love that. Yeah.
That's awesome. Thank you for sharing that. And the next rapid fire question I have for you is, what do you love most about teaching yoga?
Hmm. Well, what you said before, the connection with so many different people. And especially, I'm very grateful of being here in Dubai because there are so many different nationalities here. And I'm currently teaching in a place where the groups are big and very different nationalities, very different histories, and it's a non-stop learning. So when you finish your teacher training, it's like, okay, this is how you teach, right? But then you find that people come with a lot of stories, and when you finish the class and those conversations that you have with people telling you, hey, when you said this, when you made us do that, or when I did this, or in Shavasana, people crying, or people laughing, or you know the different feedbacks that I get from people. And as you said in the introduction, I love science, so I get very, very curious of
Mhm.
what the triggers were. Why did you feel this way? Tell me more, right? Where is this coming from? So that takes me to investigate a lot about how brain and body connect, emotions, triggers, traumas. I love learning about how this works in people. So yeah, that's the biggest takeaway that I have. Yeah.
I love that. I love how you kind of check with your students in terms of like to know why they're feeling what they're feeling. I think it's just so important. And I think feedback is just so nice, right? When a student tells you that they love your class and it means so much, it's just a rewarding feeling. So thank you for sharing that. And the final rapid fire question that I have for you is, what are some beginner friendly yoga poses?
Hmm. I truly believe that everything can be adaptable to beginners. One position that I love introducing to beginners. I don't know if it's a beginner position, but I love introducing it to beginners. Is Warrior Two. It's my second favorite actually after Happy Baby. So, I feel like from the teacher's perspective, it's easy to go and adjust them to find that the power that the Warrior Two has. When you're looking on top of your arm and it's like shooting that energy forward, I feel like it's so empowering. The when you start feeling those legs working,
Yeah.
holding yourself up, and the length at the same time that you find when you open the chest and you look to the front. And I don't know, I find that it really engages people attention,
Mm-hmm.
everything that's happening in the body, in the breath. and it's so versatile as well. You can go to so many places from there.
Yeah,
So it's very adjustable to everybody's bodies.
absolutely.
Uh, so
Yeah.
yeah, these two is one of my favorites beginners. But as I said, it's not just a beginner. I practice it constantly.
I love that. Yeah. Thank you for sharing that. And I also love Warrior 2 as well. I think it's such a great practice, right? And I feel like with beginners, when they get started with specifically with Warrior 2, I think it's just it's a learning, right? It's a way of learning. And each time they do the sequence, I think it'll change over time. So, and you'll be able to see the improvement as well. So I love how you had mentioned Warrior 2 there. So thank you for sharing that, Nani. And that is the end of our 61st episode. So thank you so much for joining me on the 61st episode of the podcast. It has been a pleasure speaking with you. And I hope we're able to do this again. And I'd like to thank everyone else who has yet to listen to our 61st episode of Inside the Minds of Great Yogis. And until next time, I hope everyone has a great day. And thank you once again, Nani.
Thank you, Swati. Have a beautiful day.
You as well. Thank you.